Hello, everyone. This is Elena Bartosh, your real estate investor. Today, my podcast is always about real estate. And my goal is to bring the best speakers, the most experienced, the most cool people who can share their experience and give you guys best value. So today, I'm extremely lucky because today my guest is such a cool guy. His name is Vision Cooper. Guys, he's completely blind, but he has such a wide vision about his business. He runs, I don't know even how many thousand doors in co-living, in arbitrage, and he owns properties. He and his company, they own properties on more than 64 markets. So let's meet Vision, and I'm so excited to ask Vision many questions. Hi, Vision.
How's it going, Elena? It's nice to meet you guys. Um, I want to make a one
Nice to
quick
meet you.
correction for you as well. We actually don't own any of the properties that we run. We only do rental
Mhm.
arbitrage with all of our properties currently. Um, but we
Yep.
do operate in over 64 markets, and I am proud to say that we help people acquire everything from short-term rentals and co-living operations. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I'm sorry I made this mistake. Absolutely. Arbitrage means you
No
guys don't
problem.
own properties, but you rent them out from other people, right? To set them
Yes,
as an
ma'am.
rental properties. I
So
love
it's
it.
always through a
64
corporate.
mark.
Yes, ma'am. It's always through a corporate lease. So the practice of corporate leasing has been around since the 1980s. And really it was originally for companies that wanted to house their employees. But over the years, as things have evolved in real estate, it's really become a space where as long as the furnished rental numbers come out more than the long-term rental numbers, you're in a really good spot in what you can perform. And that's really what makes arbitrage such a beautiful model right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. Less risk. But anyway, Vision, could you please tell people who watch us right now and who will be watching us in the future, who is Vision Cooper?
Yes, ma'am. So, I mean, for me, I am an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for over 10 years now for myself. From myself and my wife, we started our portfolio of furnished rentals maybe 5.5, 6 years ago or so. And for us, it was really about wanting to create a service to be able to help people who we saw were struggling with finding housing, but it was only because, maybe they had an eviction on their credit, but they could afford the place. And then that turned into us just kind of really getting deeper into what arbitrage really was in its entirety. And it led us to creating our platform that we have now called Your Place. So not only does my
Mhm.
wife and I have our own portfolio of furnished rentals in different cities, but we also help people acquire them through our company as well. So it's been quite a journey just building the different partnerships we've had to build over the course of, these past 4.5 years that we've been expanding our acquisition company. And being the first to market really has defined me because I've done a lot of things. I've built marketing companies, I've built apps, I've, had plenty of different experiences, but this arbitrage space is definitely one that I feel like I've laid my hat on because it's been the first industry that I've tapped into that with what I've been doing and expanding what we offer, I'm really seeing that this is a mass market product that for the first time ever, I'm the first to the market. So that's never been I've never been the case with any entrepreneurial venture I've ever started. So I'm super excited to be at the forefront of things with this.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vision. Absolutely, I can imagine. And guys, for those who are watching us right now, today our podcast with entrepreneur Vision Cooper. He manages arbitrage properties in 64 markets, and he started working with his family member. Correct, Vision? You told me yesterday. You
Yeah,
started this business with
my
your.
wife is also completely blind as well. My wife and I, we
Mm,
started this business together. Um, and we don't manage property management is definitely its own term, but I would say that we run a housing company for residents in
Mhm,
those markets. And for me, my personal portfolio of units, it's not as big as the amount of units that we've launched for sure through our company, Your
mhm,
Place. We've launched units for clients. I have clients that have over 300 units in their portfolio, so well more than me. At the most, I've had over 80 units at one time, and that's, for myself, I like to keep my portfolio pretty firm and lean. That's just my personal opinion, and I always like to have more co-living than I do short term. It's just
mhm.
preference.
You like short term mostly, right? This strategy.
Yeah, no, I like co-living most. Short term, I like to use my short-term rental properties more of kind of like a launch pad for myself in different cities.
Mhm,
There's a few cities that me and my family, my wife and I, we have two kids. So markets like Austin, Tampa, Charlotte, we have family in those type of markets, and so we tap
mhm,
into short-term rentals there. But majority of our
mhm,
portfolio for us, like me personally as a family man, I really use it for cash flow. That's why I like the co-living side because it's stable and consistent and I can count on it more than I can the short-term rental.
mhm. Yeah, but we are talking right now about your own portfolio, not about arbitrage or about arbitrage portfolio for co-living.
We're talking about my personal arbitrage portfolio for
Oh,
in its entirety. I have a mixture in my portfolio between co-living, some month-to-month units, and then I have some short-term rental units as well. But all of my personal portfolio units are all arbitrage units. And that's what we specialize with my acquisition company as well, helping people acquire arbitrage units for
mhm.
themselves.
Yeah,
Mhm.
great vision. Thank you so much. Just wanted to highlight, guys, when if someone sometimes we don't have procrastination time, we don't have to give us excuse. We should remember about people who in much more complicated situation than us. We don't have rights to sit and do nothing. To be honest, Vision, I believe you will be great inspiration for people who watch us right now and in the future to run and manage such a massive business. Yeah, I'm so crazy impressed. And guys, I wanted to open you small secret before we went live. I've seen how Vision's wife helped him putting camera in front of him, and they both sound and look such a great team. So I'm not surprised as you guys achieved such a high level success. Oh, okay. So let me ask you, please, what people who considering to start arbitrage, what they should know in the beginning? Because, for example, for me, I never done arbitrage, but I do co-living. My first question would be how you handle homeowners if, with some reason, they want to break with your contractor, but you still have tenants, and many other questions.
Yeah, I'm ready for your questions. This is the part I was excited for. So, when we're talking about, an arbitrage an agreement with a landlord, one of the things that
Mhm,
protects you is that you're going to come in with a longer term lease agreement with this landlord, typically 18 to 24 months, and then you're going to have that option to renew. That's part of the reason why
mhm,
our company's been so successful, because negotiating with landlords is really really tedious and nobody wants to really do it, so they hire our company, Your Place, to go in and handle those negotiations for them and things like that. So for us, when it comes to protecting ourselves, all of our tenants are under a month-to-month agreement. And I do co-living as well with the majority of my arbitrage portfolio. And so, like for
mhm,
instance, I have some units in Charlotte, North Carolina, some 3-bed, 3.5 bath townhomes. Each room I'm renting out at $1,250 a month, and the expense for my townhomes is about $2,500 a month. And so all in, I'm cash flowing a little over $3,700 a month in revenue, and I'm keeping about 1,200 after expenses. That's good for me, and I have multiple townhomes
mhm,
at that community, so it makes sense. So When we're thinking about this, everyone's under a month-to-month agreement. They have a smart lock on their bedroom door, and then because they're renewing each month and they're paying to stay, not paying because they stay, because there's a difference. Um,
Mhm.
if there's ever a reason why they can't pay the full rate, we're flexible. We'll do things like say, hey, pay the daily rate up until the time that you can pay the full rate for your room. So we try to be flexible with them, and if that's not working, then they get their room coded to the door, turned off, and we move on, and they have to get their things and leave. So now, of course, there's plenty of laws around tenants and, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? But as an arbitrager, you really have to run your portfolio like a lodge and like a furnished rental, that is a transient housing situation, instead of it ever being where I'm never going to give someone a 6 month lease. That's not how my company would work. We would give someone a month-to-month agreement. So that's one way that we
Mhm.
protect ourselves. Another way is that every door is smart locked. So um, and it is co-living is such a broad space because there are people that do pad split, which and that type of a model, you're typically gonna go in and renovate, change things,
Mhm.
add walls to make rooms out of spaces, and we just don't do that with arbitrage. If the deal won't work with us running the rooms as is and making our profit over the expense, then we just won't touch the deal. If that makes any sense.
Mhm. Yeah, it's absolutely totally makes sense. And what kind of co-living do you guys do? For co-living for professionals, or you take some specific niche, maybe veterans, maybe any other
No,
kind of.
I keep it broad. I don't like to turn away money, Elena. I'm gonna tell you right now. So it don't matter who
I
reach out to
agree.
me as long as they can pass a background screening and they can afford my rate and they can pay. Then I'll take flight attendants, travel nurses, professionals, digital nomads. But me personally, I like to stay away from couples. I like to stick with single individuals. Young
Mhm.
professionals, or at least individuals that, like I said, aren't coming with a family or not coming with a couple or something like that. But they have a decent job and a decent pay, so they can afford the space and things like that. And so, I guess if we want to niche it, it's just people who can afford my rooms and are not criminals. That's it.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, but I know a few people who work with some non-profit organization, but it's just difficult, different type of business, different business model. Yeah,
You should
and
be
how do
marketing
you?
everywhere. When you're doing a business like this,
Yep.
especially with a larger scale portfolio. See, the thing about arbitrage, Elena, your portfolio
Hmm.
can grow really quickly. So you can come into
Hmm.
this thinking, oh, I'm going to get one arbitrage property. But unlike purchasing, like for you, if you go purchase a property in Charlotte right now and you have 10 people to reach out to you for a 4 bedroom property, you can only service four
Hmm.
people if you only have 4 rooms, or you have to add more rooms in that property, correct?
Yep. Yep.
So with
Yep.
arbitrage, if I have 10 people and I'm starting with a 4 bedroom property, then if I'm working with, say, in a collaboration with the townhome community, I can scoop up more of those
Hmm.
properties. And if I have a good relationship, they might give me 1 month free or a waive deposit, things like that. So now I'm
Hmm.
collecting money up front before I even have to go and set up anything in the property. So I'm leveraging the people who I'm marketing to who need my rooms, that they pay me
Hmm.
to go set them up. So it's quite a beautiful thing when we think about arbitrage co-living, because you can scale it way faster than you ever could if you were buying the property. That's why for me, I'll never buy when it comes to this particular business model, because it doesn't make sense to me. I've been doing arbitrage for way too long. I'm kind of jaded.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. 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 You see, arbitrage. Not many people as much brave as you, because I know for someone it's easier to buy than to do arbitrage. Yeah, I've heard such opinion from
I
people, but
could I
yeah, I
could
agree with
have
you.
someone can sign a lease with a corporate lease through us in 72 hours. So with our company, Your Place, accessyourplace.com, if they wanted one of those arbitrage deals within 72 hours, because
Mhm.
those deals are already pre-negotiated, they would be signing the
Mhm.
lease. So when you really think about this and the speed in which somebody can move on an arbitrage deal, it just I mean, it takes 30 days typically to close on a deal, even if it's a creative deal, if you're buying the property. You know what I mean? And then you're worried
Mm-hmm.
about property tax, PITI, all this other stuff. You have to cover the maintenance. As an arbitrager, I don't handle maintenance. That's on my landlord. But I get to make more money than him. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why for me,
Yeah.
it's like a real estate hack. I don't know. I love it so much.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, you know who are watching us right now? I'm going to put Vision's company website link under our video. This video will stay on my YouTube channel forever. So if you would like to connect Vision or his company directly, please feel free. Also, I will have Vision's Facebook direct link under this video. Please keep to Vision if you have any questions regarding his model. Cool,
Absolutely.
Vision. Thank you so much for all information. And very, very fundamental question, because I've heard many different answers on this question.
Mhm.
How do you prefer your rooms, furnished or unfurnished?
That's a good
And why?
question. So for me, and I always coach clients this way as well, because of the way that arbitrage works, I leave my rooms unfurnished until I know what my client needs. So I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but I start off by furnishing the main space. I do the smart locks on the doors. I label everything, so everything's labeled, everything's ready. I do all of what you would typically want to see in a co-living, minus putting cameras in my main space. It's kind of creepy. I don't do that. I'll put a camera on the front door on the outside, but I don't do sober living, so I don't have to worry about like monitoring the inside of the main space. I know that some operators do that. I don't. Now, when a client reaches out to my company, I have my property manager. Well, I won't. I don't like to call them property managers. My resident manager that I hired for my portfolio, and they'll take those calls. And they'll. The first question that we ask people are, "Hey, okay, you need a room in Charlotte, or you need a room in Austin. Do you need that room furnished, or are you going to be bringing your own items?" And if they say, "Oh, I'm going to bring
Mhm,
my own items," that's one less thing I have to come out of pocket for to get that space ready. Now, if they say they need it furnished, then we tell them what we provide is a bed, mattress, side table. You need to get your own linens. So we do
mhm,
furnish it to a degree, but again, we're keeping it cost efficient. And I'm going to throw a metal frame in there, a good comfortable
mhm,
mattress, and a nice side table from Walmart. So you know, co-living isn't fancy. That's why I like it. Short-term rentals, you're competing against everybody. It's all about, ooh, looky, looky, I'm the best one on all these platforms. With co-living, it's different. People need a home. They need a place to live. They don't care about if they
mhm,
have decor in their bedroom or if a TV is going to be included in their room. They care about what the rent is. Is it going to include all the expenses? Are they going to be living with people who are criminals? Is it going to be a safe area? Those are the type of things that they're concerned about. Is it close to the job they're working in? That's their concerns. And so for me, I feel like what we do and what we offer as a business as a whole, we also follow our clients. Like I have so many clients that'll leave one location and because they're moving to another city and we do arbitrage, we can source and find a property in that location, pick it up and be
mhm,
ready to service them plus other residents in that area if need be, because we're obviously marketing now there too, and everything is good to go. So, and we're not using Pad Split at all to market either. Like I don't use Pad Split
mhm,
at all to do my marketing, not even a little bit. And neither do my clients. Any client moves forward with us, we don't even coach them on the Pad Split way because it doesn't really make sense for the arbitrage model. Um, so we tell our clients Furnish Finder, Sublet.com, Facebook groups local to your market. So like roommate seeking roommate, Charlotte, and you can be seeing people in there posting that they need a room and that they're willing to pay under 1,300. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Roomster, Hot Pads, Booking.com. Oh, I could go on and on and on and on. We could be at this all day.
yeah,
So
yeah. Cool,
there's
cool.
plenty of ways to market your rooms way outside of Pad Split. And that's what I feel like we tap into in its entirety with what we do is we don't try to service in a way where we're like, okay, well, our rooms are the most affordable. No, our rooms are not the most affordable. but our rooms are the most comfortable and they're in the best locations, in the most comfortable situations, with the least amount of roommates, and we're still making profit. Because people get really iffy about like a 3-to-1 bathroom ratio and things like that. They don't want to share with the guy or whatever. So when
Mhm.
you get those 3-bed 3 baths, those 4-bed 4 baths, those 5-bed 4.5s, or those 5 5s, whew, those are money makers for arbitrage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. So just wanted to ask you, how do you do your due diligence? What are the most important for you to consider this house good for co-living,
So
except numbers?
I'm I'll be honest, and then I'll give you the professional answer. I'm gonna give you both. My honest answer is I don't even my company, Your Place, does all the research now, so I'm kind of lazy, and then I let them do it all, and then they said they bring me the good deals. But the professional answer is that if you're wanting to do your own research, really you want to do a combination of looking at hotel occupancy rate, checking Furnish Finder for what other operators are listing at, and then looking at direct booking competitors. Direct booking competitors are slept on, and we don't want to do that, not for arbitrage anyways, because where the direct booking competitors are seeing things is if you look at somebody's website that's offering rooms for rent, they're probably looking at the market from the perspective of Craigslist, Facebook groups, things like that. So the rates they're displaying are going to be the typical rates that you're going to know that are locally based. So you want to
Mhm,
cross reference everything, and you're not going to do things like AirDNA for something like rooms. You're going to be tapping straight into deep research, calling people from
mhm,
Furnish Finder to get that market research yourself, calling rooms that are for rent on hot pads, checking those numbers on Zillow, on hot pads, Furnish Finder, Sublet, the same platforms where you're going to go to list and market. Check those platforms for the room rate for the area and be very zip code specific, because you could be North Charlotte and your rooms you're not even seeing anybody listed any more than 1100, but then you could be uptown, South End, and people are at 1400, 1300. But then you go to
mhm.
Austin, Texas, closer to downtown, you can get 1700 a room. But then outskirts Austin, you're down to 1100, 1200 a room. So it's still based on zip code, but you're going to be more grassroots research with it when you're looking at numbers for that.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. And I like you just mentioned about jobs for people. So for co-living people, really important. How do you think? Really important public transportation, or we don't have to be
Mhm.
worried about how close is public transportation? Do we have to?
Exactly. It is a factor sometimes. Now, I want to use some examples. So, for example, um, I have some flight attendants in Charlotte. They don't have a car, none of them, and they were all like coming from their flight attendant camp, and so boom, they needed
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of townhomes that were close to the airport because they're going to be Ubering back and forth. So that was
Mm-hmm.
that was some a situation where it wasn't necessarily they needed close to public transportation, more so they wanted it close to a specific area where they don't have to worry about the Uber being too high. So
Mm-hmm.
it's always going to be based on the resident. Every resident's going to be a particular situation. So that's why I also don't believe in buying, because it hinders my flexibility and me servicing. When you're doing arbitrage, it's more so a service first type of a mindset where I'm looking at my residents and saying, how can I help you? Versus saying, here's the property I have. Hopefully it works for you. That's it's more than that when
Mm-hmm.
you're doing arbitrage, because you're almost like a headhunter, like a locator, but one that's going to actually acquire and set up everything for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure. Thank you so much, Vision. Yeah. Let's come back a little bit to arbitrage topic. What the biggest lesson you learned working with landlords, because you have to make deal with both sides, right? With tenants plus with landlords. What should people who are considering arbitrage and their potential business model, what they should know about relationship with landlords?
Your business should be set up. That's the first thing that jumps out at me. The reason why we get approved and why our acquisition company works so well is because our business is set up. So when we need to show documents, bank statements, tax returns, trade lines, all those things are in place. So a landlord can screen us, an apartment community can screen us, and we can get approved. And
Mm-hmm.
once your company is approved, then the sky is the limit. You can work deals, you can negotiate deeper, all those things. The first thing is the landlord comfortable with signing a lease with a company as long as that company can show good proof of funds and a good history of payments. And when you can do that, there's really nothing you can't accomplish when it comes to arbitrage. But that's why our company, Your Place, is so valuable because most people come into business and they don't have their stuff set up. So we kind of undercut that by, with our company, we're pre-negotiating, and if you don't have the credentials to get approved, our company, Your Place, will still secure that property under corporate lease and corporate sublease it out to our clients for them to still run their operations with no problem. So
Mm-hmm.
it's it's a pretty intense situation when we're thinking about landlords because it could be a situation where a landlord might have, let's say a 10-unit apartment building, and they're like, well, we want you to take all units, and each unit is a 3 bedroom. So technically, that's 30 rooms. Now, do you have the potential or the capacity to market 30 rooms? No. But when it comes to you coming in as a network, like what Your Place does as a company, we come in as a network. And so we're able to command a lot more. We're able to negotiate a lot better because we're one big network. Over 1,100 clients over the past 4.5 years have moved forward with our service. So we command a lot of referrals. We have a lot of properties that we've helped individuals acquire. So there's a lot to what we do that I think goes a long way to that approval process. And that would be my advice. Be set up as a business where people can respect you more.
Mm-hmm. Great advice. Thank you so much, Vision. Just wanted to remind people who are watching us right now. Today, my guest, Vision Cooper, he and his company, they manage plenty tons of arbitrage properties in on 64 markets, and he has such a beautiful experience. Um, he just sharing with us. Thank you so much, Vision, to be today my guest. I'm really impressed with your vision, with your experience, and with level of your knowledge. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you. You are my guest today. I really believe you are inspiration for many people today and in the future.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
I
you so
appreciate you
much.
having me on.
Beautiful. Guys who are watching us right now, please don't feel hesitated to put your questions in the chat. I will read questions to Vision and he can answer your questions. Any questions you see, he has experience with short-term rental, with mid-term rental, with co-living.
Too
He
much
knows
experience.
yeah, too much experience. Please, please feel free. Yeah, yeah. Vision, and wanted to ask you about markets. So you mentioned how do you select markets? Do you select markets only because you have family members somewhere, or you do deep analysis of markets?
So again, I always have a personal answer and then a bigger answer because I have one based on what my clients ask for too. But me
Both,
personally, I really select markets that I know I have a lot of like personal network ability in those areas. That's me personally.
please.
Like Austin is my home city. I love Austin, so that's where I'm gonna have a lot of units there. I have family in Charlotte, so I have a lot of units there. Tampa Bay is my home as well, and I have a lot of units there. So in the markets where I have a lot of influence personally, that's where I, pretty much um make sure that I have a convolution of units in those areas. Now, for my
Mhm.
clients, I see a little bit of everything, Elena. Like people are investing all over the place. I would say one of the biggest markets right now for co-living is going to be the North Carolina areas, Raleigh, Durham, Charlotte, North Carolina. Those are going to be really big areas a lot of clients are asking for, but so do clients ask for Tempe, Phoenix. That's a really huge market. We're now tapping into
Mhm.
California, Southern California, like the LA area is really big right now. A lot of people looking to do co-living out there. We have clients looking in the South Florida area, like the Miami area, for co-living opportunities. And I'm
Mhm.
even seeing people right now in Alabama as well, and even into Kentucky. So there's there's some pretty interesting markets where I'm noticing that clients really want to, hover around. And they when we tell them we can get them in a certain market, they're like, "Oh, I have to be there. I have to be there." So those are some of the ones I know are most popular. But for me personally, um, I have my preferences as an individual too.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know some people too,
Absolutely.
like even on the short term side, like when we think about short term rentals, like versus the co-living, it's you would think that it's based on vacation, like where the top vacation market is, but that's not always true either. Because with
Mhm.
short-term rentals, there are some markets where the market is more of a sub-market. It's not a lot of travelers there for what we might think. But what people do go there for, like hunting, there's some markets in Georgia where it's really good for hunting, and the numbers there would be better than some markets in Florida. So
Mm.
this furnished rental industry is quite interesting, and in the way that you do your numbers,
Mhm.
it's so all over the place. Sometimes it really takes you being specific on your research and making sure you're looking at a big picture and not just saying, "Oh, I'm going to check
Mhm.
AirDNA," or "Oh, I'm going to look at this one platform and go based off of that." You kind of need a big picture with any type of furnished rental property. So that's what our company does. Is we really go into that deep dive research and make sure that we not only understand, but once we do understand, if there's any license requirements, how do we navigate that? If there's anything that we know as far as the zoning, how do we navigate that? And that's what we work with our clients through. We're not a course or a coaching program. We specialize in
Mhm.
literally getting right to the meat of it, the property itself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vision. Actually, it's such a funny discussion because we are discussing particularly in the same time about your own portfolio and about how you guys, you and your company help your clients.
Hmm.
See, this is a mixed conversation, and we have question from Megan. Hi, Megan. Happy to hear here to have you here. So Megan asks, do you search for room wanted posts, or how do you find where the biggest need is for room rentals?
Oh, that's a really good question. So when we're looking at a city, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
this is where you really want to get creative in how you're doing research, because it's not about just looking at the
Mm-hmm.
property. It's about looking at the human engagement in that city. What are humans doing? Are they going there for school? Are they going there to party?
Mm-hmm.
Are there going? Is there some sort of industrial complex in that area that drives people like Tampa? What people don't know about Tampa is not only Tampa Bay is a market that people are going there for the beaches, obviously, because that's why I go there. But people also go there
Me as
because it's a
well.
big theater scene, huge theater scene. Like there are so many people that do theater out there, so people travel there just for that. There's a big tech scene out there right now with some of the more manufacturer-based tech companies like Honeywell. Honeywell is always bringing massive interns in and out of Tampa, and they always want to be central in that downtown area because that's close to where the Honeywell office is. So knowing your city and knowing why humans might want to go there and why they want to stay there and why not only because it's different from looking at why families might want to be somewhere and why individuals might want to be somewhere. And that's what we're talking about when we're
Mhm.
looking at rooms. So that's the type of research that we do when we're looking at. I hope that answers her question.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Please let us know if Vision answered your question, guys. If you have more questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Thank you, Vision. Thank you so much. Yeah, million questions. We have limited amount of time. Probably we have another 5 minutes. So
Okay.
whoever watches right now, please use this time to ask Vision questions. Okay, let's come back a little bit to your company. What is your company? Uh, I would say the main value. How do you differ from
Say
your
one more time. You
competitors?
kind of broke up there. Alina.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just wanted to ask about your company's service. What value do you bring to your clients, and how you guys differ compared to your competitors?
Well, every competitor that I have is focused on only providing acquisition service for short-term rental. That's the first thing. Second thing is every competitor that I have is not currently offering setup services on top of the fact that they do acquisition. And third,
Mm-hmm.
no competitor that I have is walking with their clients through the whole process, making sure you get a lease and sticking with you throughout your lease term. Even when you renew, we're sticking with you and we don't charge you a dime for renewing or anything like that. You don't keep paying us just because we stick with you. It's not a monthly membership fee. It's like what the relationship would be. That's what we designed our company around. And so when we think
Mm-hmm.
about competitors for us, what I want my company to really stand the test of is to become that known platform. More than just, oh, we're an agency, but we're a platform where you can come to us and know that we have the system to provide end-to-end service to help you turnkey launch any co-living or short-term rental operation through arbitrage
Mm-hmm.
without having to purchase the property. So when we think about this, we have, and this is, I guess, the fourth thing that sets us apart. We are multiple departments under one firm, and it took us years to get it this way. So we have acquisition department of
Mm-hmm.
US based.
Uh-oh. Vision, I don't see you. I don't hear you. Uh, we lost connection. If you hear me, but I don't hear you. Oh, it's so sad because yesterday, actually, our podcast with Vision was scheduled for yesterday, for August 5th, 2025. And we had so many technical issues, we were not able even to continue our conversation. And we have the same issue today. I'm streaming through StreamYard, and it's obviously they have some issues on their side. So thanks God we're almost done. And but anyway, it's very pity I cannot see Vision, and I cannot say him thank you, Vision, so much for all your wisdom, for all your experience, and thank you everyone, guys, who've been today with us. I'm so sorry for these technical issues. It's really unexpected. Thank you again to everyone. If you guys been today with us, if you still have questions to Vision, please feel free to reach out to him directly. I'm going to put a couple his links under this video. And myself, I'm real estate investor. I'm always happy to explain people how private money lending system works, because me, I don't use banks. I work only with private investors, with individuals who wants to make extra money and who cares about their savings. So please reach out to me directly. I'm here to get to know you and about your goals. And thank you so much, everyone, for being today with us. And see you next time. Bye bye.